Now let's talk more about number data type, which is one of the primitive data type. Numbers are integers and decimal values which can do all the arithmetic operations. Let's see some examples of numbers. Let's start by declaring some variables, that is number data types. Let's say age is equals to 21. Let's define some variables using const. Let's define gravity. That's a non-changing value. That's gravity, right? Let's also declare a const pi value, which is also not changing. That should be 3.14, as you all know that. Let's also declare some more variables using const. That's boiling point is 100. Let's also declare body temperature, a constant, that should be a const. Body temp is going to be 37. That is average human body temperature. Now let's just console log this. Now I'm gonna log first age, second is gravity, then pi, then boiling point, then lastly body temperature. Now let's save and check. As you can see, there we have our values in the console. Now let's discuss about math object. In JavaScript, the math object provides a lot of methods to work with numbers. For example, let me just clear this. If I say const pi, that is pi, if I say math dot pi, and if I console log the variable pi, as you can see, it automatically, that math object generated the pi value here. Now let's explore some more object methods, math object methods. Let's just console log the result directly. Inside of the console log, I'm gonna say math dot round. Let's just use the variable that is pi. If I save this now, it returns 3. Then what is happening here? This math.round function, it rounds the value to the nearest number. For example, the pi value is 3.14. Nearest value is going to be 3, right? So it rounds the value to the nearest number. Let me just add a comment here. Nearest number. It rounds to the nearest number. Now let's just use, let's just say, I'm just gonna console log. I'm gonna say math dot round, let's say 9.81. Now what should happen here? It should round to the nearest number. What's going to be the nearest number here? Obviously it should be 10, right? Nearest is 10. If I save this now, as you can see, it returns 10 now. Okay, now let's use one more math object for method. Let's just console log. This time I'm gonna use math dot floor. If I pass the variable here, now if I save this, as you can see, it is returning 3. That means this math.floor actually rounds down to this value. Now I can also say, let's just say console log. Let's just console log math dot seal. If I pass the variable now here and save, it's returning 4. This math.seal function, this math.seal object method actually rounds up to the value, that is, it's 3.14. It returns the round up. This math.floor returns the value by rounding down. This is rounding up. Okay, now let's also use another math object here, math object method. Actually, that's the right way to say that. if I say mat dot min, and if I pass some values here, -5, 3, 24, 5, 10. Now if I save this, it is going to return the minimum value inside of these values. As you can see, it's returning 5. That's the minimum value. Similarly, let's copy this same and paste it over here. Let's say max. Now if I save this now, it should return the maximum value, right? As you can see, 20 is the maximum value and it is also returning 20. Now let's try to calculate the square root using this math object. Let's say console log. I'm going to say math dot square root of 100. If I save this, it should return the square root of 100, that is 10. Now again, if I console log math dot square root, let's just say 2. As you can see, it is returning the square root of 2 now. Similarly, we can also perform logarithm operations over here. Let's just say console log. Let's say math dot log of 2. If I save this, as you can see, it is returning log of 2 here. Similarly, let's also say log of, that should say console log of math dot log of 10. If I save this, it's returning log of 10 here. And we can also perform trigonometric operations using the math object. Let's console log these. If I say math dot sine of 0 here, let's console log. As you can see, 0, that's the value of sine 0. Let's also say log of math dot sine of 60. If I save this, as you can see, it's returning sine of 60 here. That's how this math object actually works. It has lots of methods to work with numbers here, as you can see. Now let's discuss how we can generate a random number every time we refresh. Let's just do that now. The JavaScript math object has a random method which generates a random number between 0 and 1 every time you refresh. Let's declare a variable let random num is equals to math dot random. This is going to generate a random number between 0 and 1, and that's never going to be the same. That's going to be random every time you generate. If I console log now, as you can see, it is generating a random number between 0 and 1. It is going to include 0 but exclude 1. Now if I refresh this, as you can see, it is generating random number every time, and I refresh this. So now let's see how we can use this random method to generate random number between 0 and 10. Now if I say another variable, if I declare another variable here, let num between 0 and 10. That's a long variable name. Let's use that. Now what I want to do is, in this variable we have a random number between 0 and 1, right? That is including 0 but excluding 1. Always keep in mind that. Now if let's just say we have a random number in this variable. Now I'm gonna use that random, that's going to be random num. Now we have a random number over here, but that is from 0 to 1. Now if I multiply it with 10 now, that's because I want number between 0 and 10. Now if I do that, now let's just console log this number between 0 and 10. Now if I console log, as you can see, it is generating now random number, as you can see, but it is not including the 10 here. As you can see, 0 is included, as you see in the last iteration. Let me just show you that. Okay, 10 is not coming, right? It is excluding it. See, it is including 0. Let's just ignore these two, ignore these all. It is including 0 but excluding the last number. So what should we do here? We want the 10 also, right? We also want number between 0 to 10. What you have to do is, all you have to do is let's just multiply it by 11 now. Now if I do that, it is also going to include 10 now. Now if I do some here, okay, as you can see, it in the previous iteration it actually generated 10. I don't know if you saw that. You should have seen that. Let me just do, okay, as you can see, it generated 10 here. Okay, now as you can see, it is also generating this gibberish. I don't want that. I only want a single digit over it. I don't want decimal values. As you already learned that we can actually round them up. All I want is I want to round them down here. So I can use mat.floor, right? So I'm gonna say let random num round to floor. You can name it however you want. I'm gonna say mat.floor. All I have to do is I just want to floor this up, round this up now. Now if I save this now, this is going to generate a random number between 0 and 10, including 10 now. Now let's just console log here. Let's just put console log over here. Let's copy this variable. Now if I console log, as you can see, it is rounded down, and it is generating random number between 0 to 10 every time I refresh now, as you can see. So that's how this random generator actually works. It is a method of math object. That's it for this video. In the next video, we are going to talk about strings now. So I will see you in the next one.